Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GM Sports Report, your weekly podcast on all things sports, where every play counts. I'm Grant, and I'm here with my co-host Mason as we get ready to cover the latest news, headlines, and upcoming events going on in the sports world. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see all things GM Sports Report. Mason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Grant. Just got back from vacation this past weekend. Thanks for holding it down, buddy. But yeah, I'm
No
back,
problem.
and I won't be missing anymore.
That's good to hear because it was kind of hard for me to do the solo thing, so I'm glad you're back.
I gotcha.
All right, we're going to start out this episode like how we start out every episode, and that is with our hot take of the week. So, Mason, I'll let you go ahead and begin with your hot take.
All right, so I was kind of struggling to find something just because it's kind of like dead in the summer, and there's not too much going on except for really just you know baseball stuff. So I thought I'd just kind of find something random. And I think that the Browns will be as much of a disappointment this year as they were last year. I mean, I can't stress enough how much they have to work on. You have five quarterbacks, which all like there's no clear cut starter on who you're going to put on. And then I'm not a big Mason Graham fan. That D tackle. A lot of people were hyping him up in the draft and stuff. I really don't see it. He could be good, like paired up with Miles Garrett, but as a solo rusher, if he's got to hold it down and lead that line, I just don't see him impacting the D line like that. And the running back room, that's also up in the air. Ollie Gordon obviously getting in kind of his little bit of trouble. I think there's so many question marks on this team, and I don't really see them doing much better than they did last year.
I think I'm going to have to agree with you there because I also just don't see the vision with that team right now. I said it back when we did our draft show. I really didn't know what kind of direction they were going by taking all those
Hmm.
quarterbacks. It's like it seems like they didn't really have like a game plan or anything to me. And I agree. I don't think that they're going to have that good of a season, and I can see them having another top 5 pick this upcoming
Yeah.
draft,
Yep.
uh, to put it that way. Um, my hot take of the week, I don't know if this is really that much of a hot take, but I was trying to like keep it with something relevant going on right now. And that's just to me, the home run derby and all-star game are better than any other sports version of like an all-star game. I know they're called different things in other sports, but um
Yeah.
I think it's better than football's Pro Bowl. I think it's better than the NBA
Yep.
All Star stuff. The only one that really competes is the new NHL system that they did this
Yep.
last season, but it's so new that I'm gonna give it to the MLB for at least right now. And maybe the NHL will pass it in the next years to come if it keeps being as good as it was this last year. Um, I don't know if it's the nostalgia just because I've been growing up watching it my whole life, but I just love there's nothing I love more than the Midsummer Classic, like just watching the home run derby, watching all these guys hit all these absolute tanks. It's so entertaining to watch. And then I think the All-Star game is so much more competitive than any of these other sports versions of All-Star games. Um, a lot of that is because it is baseball and, there's not a lot of injury. Um, as there is in basketball or football, so they don't want to go 100% in those sports. But in baseball, you still kind of can go 100% without having to worry. So maybe that's what it is. My only complaint is I wish they would go back to the old home run derby format where it's just 10 outs, no time limit, as many home runs as you can
Mm.
hit. That's how you win. It kind of the new timer, like I get it's to keep the pace up and stuff like that, but it kind of takes away from like the spectacle and the showmanship of these hitters. I mean, we saw O'Neal Cruz hit a ball 513 feet, and we couldn't even admire it because it was just next pitch, next pitch, next pitch.
Mhm.
I like back in the day when, if you hit a tank, you got to like actually watch it, and the batters took their time and hit more tanks. That's my only complaint. I still love the home run derby. I think it's very fun and competitive, but I would like to see them go back to that old format. But that is my hot take. I think the home run derby and all star game are the best throughout all the sports versions of their all stars stuff.
Yeah, I honestly think I'll agree. Obviously, I grew up watching football my whole life, and just those early like Pro Bowls, those were great, but it lost the intensity, like you were saying, where MLB has been consistent, through and through. Maybe some rules and regulations have changed with, like you said, like the home run derby and stuff like that. But um, I still think that it has that kind of competitiveness where guys want to, show up and do those kind of events and be the best and have those titles because right now Kyle Rayleigh is, the one of the best home run hitters in the league, and he just won the home run derby, and that's how it should be. Get
Mhm.
guys who are big into what they're doing and show up for it. And I do agree as far as the timer. It was because as a newer fan, that's kind of all I know so far. And when you're looking and you're watching, it's like, okay, which ball was what? Is that the ball that he just cracked there? And like, okay, I didn't think that one's gonna carry. Oh, that's a different ball. When they're showing all these pitches after pitches, so it gets a little confusing. But I do understand that time aspect of it and trying to move the pace along. But yeah, I think that's a great critique, and yeah, I just think it's a great as a whole, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I agree. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and slide into our underdog of the week. The only sport going on right now is baseball, so I'm just gonna assume we both have
Yeah.
baseball related
Yeah.
underdogs of the week. So I'll let you go ahead and begin with that.
Yeah, so I really didn't want to pick this, but I felt like it was the only thing to do. And I will say that the Boston Red Sox are my underdog of the week. 10-game win streak, 1 game back of second place in the AL East, and a total of 3 games is a 3-game differential from first to third in the AL East, and I hope that the Yankees can kind of close it shut and make a big jump after this All Star break. But we'll see. I got to give flowers where they're due, and that's the Boston Red Sox. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Red Sox continue that momentum. Outside, like right out of the All Star break, they have to go to Wrigley Field and play a 3-game series against the Chicago Cubs. So that'll be a good test to see where they're at. Um, for my underdog of the week, I'm kind of going with a guy that I bashed a little bit last week, and that's Kyle Stowers. I said that he doesn't belong in the All Star game this year, and I still stand on that. I don't think he belongs instead of a guy like Seiya Suzuki, but that's besides the point. This last week, he had a fantastic week, batted 9 for 18, which is a 500 batting average, and he did have a 3 home run game. And the Marlins have been a little hot lately, and he's probably the main reason why. So I want to give a little credit when credit's due because I was bashing this man a lot last week when I was
Hmm.
doing my All Star snubs discussion. So yeah, Kyle Stowers is my
Yeah,
underdog.
it happens, man.
Yeah, like you said, you got to give credit when credit's due. So
Yeah, yeah.
all right, now we're gonna go ahead and slide over to the MLB. Obviously, last night we had the home run derby. I just wanted to have a little discussion. What did you think of the home run derby? Did you think there was anything bad about it, good about it? Just what are your thoughts on it?
All right, for me, I'm just gonna get the elephant out of the room as a Yankees fan. That if you know sports like that and pay attention to these All Star things, Jazz Chisholm's performance felt exactly like the Julius Randle 3-point contest. I think it was 22, maybe 23, and yeah, it was just very underwhelming. I expected him to at least get more than 5. 10 was kind of where I was hoping he'd get, but 3, it's like, man, okay, whatever. But all the other guys, I thought they did very well. I wasn't really underwhelmed from anyone else. I kind of expected, and a couple guys exceeded my expectations. Like Junior Caminero, I did not expect him to be, coming out slugging like that. But he really gave those guys a run for their money and earned second place in the home run derby. So, yeah, I definitely think that shocked me.
Yeah, I agree. Junior Caminero looked great. He has such a smooth swing. It looked like he wasn't even like
Yeah.
trying to hit home runs. He was
Yep.
just kind of letting the barrel find the ball, which was really satisfying to watch. I'll touch on the Jazz thing. I just don't get how he even made it in there in the first place. I get he's like
I
hitting
don't
home
know.
runs during the regular season, but like you can tell, like he's a gamer, like he's a game home run hitter. He's not meant for like a home run derby. He's too
No.
undersized. Like we're looking at these guys like James Wood and O'Neal Cruz who are like six,
Yeah.
seven, just huge athletes.
All right. You did that.
Sorry,
You did that on
huge
purpose. You did
athletes.
that on purpose.
Just hitting like 500-foot bombs and Yeah, I don't get why Jazz is in there. I don't know how tall he is off the top of my head, but it just didn't seem like a match made in heaven, if you ask me. I think you could have found someone probably that would have done a little bit better than him. As far as Cal Rayleigh, that's I think who most people had winning. So it was good to see the league leader in home runs, win. I think it was very entertaining to watch last
Yeah.
night. There was some really good moments, but there was one controversial moment that I wanted to talk about, and that was in round one. It was
Hmm.
Rooker and Rayleigh were both tied at, I think it was 16 or 17 home runs. I can't remember off the top of
Yeah.
my head. And the way they decided who moved on was by a
It's by
point zero 0.08
centimeters.
inch
Yeah.
difference. And to me, that feels a little rigged. It felt like, all right, we're going to give it to the guy that's leading the league in home runs because that's what's going to have the viewership stay instead of going with Rooker. I want to see a swing off in that scenario. If you have the
Yeah,
same amount of
exactly.
home runs, give the fans what they
Yep.
want, and that is a swing off. It would have been so
Hmm.
fun to see that happen. So that is my one major complaint about this home run derby. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that controversy that happened.
No, I totally agree. I was like, okay, because the announcer mentioned it. He was like, yeah, it could go down to like the centimeters and all that, but it could lead up into like a swing off. And I'm like, okay, yeah, they're just gonna go with the safe option, go with the swing off, to really like designate a winner of that round or who gets into that round because obviously it was an elimination number. So they really had to pick one or the other, and they went with the hot name, I think, because there's no way. I didn't see the number. Did they show the number on the TV, like the exact
I
number?
can't remember. I didn't. I don't remember if I saw it off. I can't
Right.
remember.
I don't. I don't either. But anyways, it's like, man, who's gonna like say they didn't just write down a different number for Cal's favor or something? So, they definitely helped him out in that aspect. But for the rest of the of the Derby, Cal really stood up for what he was, brought there for. So, yeah, I thought it went great, and I do want to shout out Matt Olson, who went kind of hot in that last round of his, which he was really giving the fans something to cheer about, especially in his home stadium, Atlanta. So that was cool to see. But yeah, I thought it was a great Derby overall.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna switch my underdog of the week. I'm gonna go with Cal Rayleigh's father because I thought
Okay,
Cal
okay.
Rayleigh was self sabotaging himself by picking his dad, but dude, his dad was
No, he
throwing
was
some
balling.
automatic DP to Cal Rayleigh. I got to give
Yep.
credit when credit's due. He was absolutely automatic, especially in that final round. Actually, no, the semifinal
Hmm.
round. When Rayleigh, I think, had 19 home runs. He was just laying them in on that middle inside zone. So I got to give credit when credit's due. I'm going to go with Cal Rayleigh's dad as my new underdog of the week.
I'll tell you what, Cam Monero was coming in hot in the
He
final
was.
part of that. I was like, oh my gosh, does he have a chance?
Yeah.
Sadly came up short. That would have been cool to see him kind of get closer. But yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, it was a fun home run derby. And I think it's pretty cool when you see the guy who's leading the league in home runs go ahead and win the derby.
Hmm.
So it was fun to see. All right, now tonight we have the actual All Star game. Do you have any predictions on who's going to win this game tonight?
I think it will be the NL. Just off paper, they look like they have a better squad, but um, I don't really have too much. Like I can't think of like MVP or something, as far as either side. But I do think it'll be very exciting to watch, and I hope we see a lot of like exciting plays, bomb stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm just going in kind of open minded, just excited to watch it. Really.
Yeah, this is probably the most excited I've been to watch an All Star game in a long time. I finally get to see two Cubs in the starting lineup, which is fun for me.
Hmm.
Last year we only had Shota, and he only went out there and pitched like one inning, so it wasn't like that excited for me. So I'm really excited for this one. And I agree with you. I think on paper the NL looks a lot more talented and better than the AL team does. But it just always seems like the AL finds a way to win these All Star games. I
Yep.
know the NL won last
Yep.
year and is looking to win back to back for the first time in I don't know how long. So maybe they'll have like that, competitive fire to go out there and win back to back for, the first time in a while. But I don't know. I don't know. I think the AL might pull it out just because that's how it always seems to go. I do really think the NL is the better team though, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
I think the biggest factor for NL on why they could win is that Aaron Boone's coaching the AL. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, we got Dave Roberts over here coaching the NL, and leave it to him to have Shohei batting leadoff and Freddie Freeman batting cleanup, even though Freddie Freeman's only at like 9 home runs this season.
Yeah.
And then stuffing a guy like PCA down in the 9 hole. We all knew that he was going to find a way to bury the
Wow.
Cubs in that lineup, having
That's
Kyle Tucker bat
crazy.
7th and PCA bat 9th. So I'm not really fond on the NL's management either right now. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Um, Last thing for the All-Star game, do you have I know it's so hard to predict, but do you have like a All-Star game MVP off the top of your head that you want to get off your chest right now?
Oh man. I think it'll go to someone like exciting, like flashy. So I could see it being like kind of like a PCA thing. Um,
I like that.
unless it's like just bombs or something. And I I don't know. I'll just go PCA, I guess, because I think if he gets like a double or something, he's just gonna push it to the extent like if it's a double, he'll probably push it to three or something. But yeah, I
You
have
know
no
what? I'm
idea.
gonna double down on that. I'm gonna go with PCA as
I
well.
don't
Why
know.
not?
Yeah,
Like you said, I think he's going to really be out there trying. He's really happy to be in the All
yeah.
Star game, and he's young, so I can see him really, putting his best effort forward to,
Mhm.
try to make something big happen. But it does seem like a lot of these times with the All Star game, it's like the reserves are usually the ones that win the MVP just because they get subbed in later game, and it's usually a close game by then. So it's like someone has a
Mhm.
big hit or something. So I could also see it going that way. But for the fun of it, I'm going to go with PCA as well.
Yep.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and slide over to the NBA. There's only really one thing to talk about. There's some LeBron stuff going on. It seems like LeBron isn't happy there. The Lakers aren't happy to have him there. There's a lot of questions on his future there. I know we saw at the Summer League, they were trying to interview LeBron. He says, I have nothing to say right now, which made things even more interesting. There's just a whole lot of stuff going on. Mason, do you see LeBron getting traded? What teams do you think are interested in him? Yeah, what are your thoughts on all this LeBron stuff going on?
I think it's all just publicity, honestly. I genuinely don't think he's gonna go anywhere. And I don't know like if I can say anything else to kind of, express that just because it just this all goes on and then he's gonna like find a way and then he'll be playing another season. So I don't like I said, I don't expect anything to happen, but I have been seeing some buzz on Twitter around and you know some teams that were kind of mentioned were like the Mavs and Clippers. I don't know how serious those buzz like talks are, but yeah, those were really the only teams kind of mentioned. Um yeah, I mean, did you see anything like that?
So I'm kind of with you. I don't really see a move happening here. But there has been like a couple things. Like I did see what you're talking about the Mavs, and I've seen the Cavs have been calling, the Clippers have been calling. I've seen like the Heat are supposedly going to have interest. But the one real report that I saw came out yesterday from I think it was an LA sports writer. He said that the Lakers, if they do trade LeBron, won't take back any contracts beyond 2025 and 2026 in a LeBron trade. And the only two teams in the NBA that can send out $50 million in expiring contracts are the Clippers and Heat. So if that is really the case and the Lakers are really trying to make a move, I could see those two teams coming into talks just because of that whole expiring contract thing. None of the other teams can really offer that. If that's really what the Lakers value, then those are the two teams to watch out for. But like you said, I don't know if I'm drinking too much of the Kool-Aid for LeBron to be traded. If anything, I could see it maybe being a trade deadline kind of thing. Maybe I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
it just seems like too big of a move to be made to just like kind of
Yeah, way too
like
late in the
happen out of
career too.
nowhere. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'm buying the whole LeBron being traded stuff. At least not right
No,
now.
no, nope.
All right. So now we're going to go ahead and slide over to the UFC because UFC 318 is happening this weekend and it is Dustin Poirier's last dance. He's going to be fighting Max Holloway for, is this the fourth time they're going to be fighting, I think?
I
Third or
think
fourth?
third.
Third.
Yeah,
Okay. This is their third
yeah,
time fighting each other. Um, what are your predictions on this main event?
yeah. I can honestly see it going either way. Obviously, as a last dance, I want Poirier to go out on top as far as like, his career, wrapping a bow on it. Holding that BMF title, and then obviously he's gonna have to leave it vacant or something. But yeah, I could see Max Holloway also, winning. I don't think that it'll end as like a knockout or anything. I could see because in the first fight, Dustin won by submission. Second fight, Max won by decision. And this fight, I could also see it going the distance and ending in the decision as well. Both these guys, they're good on their feet. Poirier is also great on the ground. So if anything, I could see it ending in a submission. But as far as knockouts and stuff, I don't know if Poirier will get knocked out by Holloway. I think his defense is great, and his combat is just great. So yeah, we'll see. I could see Poirier winning in decision though.
Yeah, first things first, I just want to say I think it's the perfect fight for Dustin Poirier
Oh
to end
yeah.
his career on. I think this is a fantastic fight. I think it's going to be an absolute brawl. It's going to showcase the talents of these two guys that are some of the most beloved fighters in the whole UFC.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be very competitive, but I think with this being Poirier's last fight, I think he's going to come out on top. Um, I don't know. Max Holloway's so good. It could obviously go the
Yeah, he
other way as
is.
well, but
That's what I was
I just
saying.
really see Dustin Poirier winning this fight. I do.
Now, we keep stressing that this is Poirier's last fight and all that, but I'm not expecting Holloway to lay down and just be like, "Oh, here
No,
you
no,
go.
not at
Here's a
all.
last win."
Yeah.
Holloway's, he's also looking for, some damage because what was the last fight he fought?
When
Do you
he lost
remember?
it to Poirier.
Right. So he's coming for some his vengeance as far as his honor or whatever. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a very entertaining fight. Maybe Poirier finally lands the standing guillotine. And that's
jeez.
how he goes out is by finally landing one of those that he always tries for, that his coaches hate every time he does.
Yeah. I will
It'll be a
say
fun.
though, it's a pretty stacked. It's a good little card as far as
It's a
what
very good card.
guys that we've watched before. Daniel Zellhubar, we've seen him fight. Probably it was the fight of the year last year with him and
Yeah,
Rubovic. And then Dan Ige, he's fighting Pitbull. That'll be cool. Kevin
yep.
Holland's fighting, and then Paulo Costa. So there's some good names.
It
It'll be
is a good
exciting to
card.
watch.
It's definitely one of the best cards that we've seen in a while because a lot
In
of
a little
these
bit,
last
yeah,
U cards have been kind of lackluster outside of
yeah.
the main event. So
Main
it'll be
event,
a fun card to watch, and I'm looking forward to watch it and break it down next week.
absolutely.
All right. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap up this episode. So thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of GM Sports Report, where every play counts. Please make sure to like,
Mhm.
comment, and subscribe to be able to see our weekly episodes on all things sports. For additional content, check the description to see links to our Instagram and TikTok account. This is Grant and Mason sign off for now. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you guys.